Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you, friends. And I will never tire of thanking you for being here with me and joining me on my crafting video adventures. So good morning and cheers to you. I am having my coffee. And again, let me take a sip. Usually by the time I'm done, my coffee is cold and I'll reheat it like a dozen times. And it just doesn't taste as good. So drink your coffee while it's still hot, unless of course you're making iced coffee. I have a quick share with you. Is it really quick? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I drew inspiration to create these beautiful little slides from helping my parents organize their pictures. And so they had a lot of these little negatives, or not these, but do you know which ones I'm talking about? The old picture slides or the old negatives that were in frames like this. So that's where I was inspired to create these. But let me tell you how this came about. This little section right here. Okay, so there's this fabulous lady on YouTube. Her name is Odd. Her YouTube channel is Odd Designs. And I'm going to link it below in the description area so that you can watch how she creates. She calls it crystal paper, which is like wax paper, almost like a faux vellum. So I watched her video a couple weeks ago, and I finally got myself, got a hold of one of these tools. I didn't want to get one because I have a similar one, a Stampin' Up! One in California. So I thought I really don't need a heat tool. But there's so many things that I want to work on while I'm here at my parents' house, especially, you know, early mornings or late evening. And I needed this so that I can make that crystal paper. So I'm happy I have this. So you do need a heat tool. Her video is absolutely amazing. She makes it look so easy. So she creates faux vellum paper. And I'm not going to call it faux wax paper because it literally is wax paper. So what she does is she takes paper, any paper, cardstock, book pages, packaging, and I save all of my packaging. I always have. And so this is brown packaging, and I cut it down to a more manageable size. It usually comes in those really long sheets. So I cut it down, but I want to show you the difference. The difference after I followed her tutorial. And look at that. Isn't that amazing? And I'll show you really quick what she did, but go watch her video, you guys. It's super easy. All you need is a heat tool, and then some wax. And I actually used this candle that's already burnt down to the very end. So I just kind of scraped out little pieces of it. You could see that. And so I saved that. But you could also use, I have broken candlesticks, so you can use that as well. All you need is to shave little pieces. So what she does is between layers of parchment paper or wax paper, so she takes her paper that she's going to wax, shaves off a little bit of the candle wax, sandwiches it between the parchment paper, and then melts it with her heat gun. And then to spread it, she uses her bone folder. I have this teeny weeny little bone folder here, but you know, if you have the regular size bone folder. And then she's just, as she's working, she's spreading it across the entire paper. Watch her video. It's amazing. That's where, so I watched that video because I really wanted to create this paper right here. So you could see before and after. And again, look at the difference. I mean, there's no way that you could see through the way you could see through here. And it's just another way of repurposing paper. And y'all know that's what I like to do. Find new ideas for old things. What is it? Trash to treasure? Yep, this is an absolute treasure. Okay, let me set this aside. But let me show you really quick how many I made. So I worked on several. And I only did the brown packaging, but as soon as I have a little bit more time, I plan on doing other types of papers like book pages and music paper, things like that. Okay, let me set this aside because I want to show you. Oh, so once I was working on this, I really didn't have an idea But as I was working on it, I thought how perfect it would be to create these vintage looking picture slides. And so as soon as I got done with this, I immediately started working on these little things right here. These little embellishments. And I'll show you, let's make some. Let's make some using some of this paper. So all you need for this, for these little things right here, and I kind of went through my stash. I already had the idea. I mean, I had the vision, and so I just went around through my stash to see what I had so I can put it together. And luckily, I had a little bit of cardstock. This is the last piece of this vanilla colored cardstock. I'm sure you can use something else. And then I grabbed some old book pages. This came from a book in my parents' garage. It is from the late 1800s. It's a patriotic book, but it is so brittle. Like, it's been through the elements, you guys. It is so brittle that if you fold it, the little pieces just snap off. That's how brittle it, but it's perfect for collaging or perfect for backing up on items. But that's pretty much all you could do with this is collage. If I fold it, it'll just break apart. Okay, so old book page, cardstock, some of this crystal paper. And so let's cut it. Oh, and then the other thing you'll need is a punch. I picked this one up at the thrift store earlier this year. And we're going to use a stapler. And what I discovered is that when I tried gluing the wax or the crystal wax paper, it didn't adhere. And so it didn't stick to the cardstock. So I tried, and I was using the 3-in-1 glue, but it held for a minute, but then once it dried, it just came apart, and that makes sense because this does have that wax paper feeling. So, and I didn't experiment with other adhesives. So the easiest thing to do was I just stapled it at the top, but it looks so cute. The other thing that I used, because you could see here, do you see those little, like the, what is it, the profile, the little vintage profile pictures? So I happen to have these stickers, and these are from Maggie Holmes. These are Maggie Holmes Heritage Collection stickers. And so I got these also earlier in January sometime at Joann's. And so these are absolutely perfect, and so are these little words right here. Now, I wasn't going to use words on these, but I tried it on one, and I just love the way it looked. Okay, so go through your stash, stickers, anything. I even used butterfly stickers, and I used botanicals, and it all looks great. The other thing I tried was using fussy cut items. So I used little butterflies, and I think that looks pretty cute too. And these butterflies came from Dollar Tree, again, earlier this year. So this is a package that I used. I took out the smallest of the butterflies. This was in the garden section at Dollar Tree, and they had other colors. But these are my favorite colors right here, this aquamarine blue, turquoise, so I love that. So I just literally went through my stash to see what I had to put these together. So let's get to work. I measured the square, and this square is 1 3/8 square. And what I did is I measured the inside of the square, again, 1 3/8, and it's going to vary depending on the size of your punch. So I needed to leave that little border, so I added an extra inch, and I'm going to cut a strip from this cardstock. Where is this? Okay, I'm going to cut a 2 3/8 inch strip. Okay, so that's just right before 2 1/2, so 2 3/8 strip. And I'm going to punch out, I can punch out 4 squares from here. Don't do what I did when I first started. I actually cut out 2 3/8 squares. The problem, and I'm sure this is pretty obvious to you, was I couldn't get it in there just right to punch it. So don't cut out individual squares. Work with a strip. I'll figure this out. Okay, so I kind of eyeball it. I try to be as even as I can to leave that little border. Okay, so there's that. It cost me $1.50 at the thrift store. I love thrift. I love thrift, finding goodies at the thrift store, especially out here. There's some great items at the thrift stores here, but they're all closed right now. That's okay. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm good staying home right now. Okay. There may be other ways to do this, but this is what worked for me. And then the other thing I did, so now I cut them down. So there is a little bit of, there is more trimming to be done just to get them even. By the way, these scissors have turned out to be absolutely wonderful. They don't put too much strain on my trigger fingers. So I got these just recently, and I got them because they were recommended by the Arthritis Foundation. Did I mention that already in another video? Anyway, they're great scissors to work with. They're easy. They don't put too much strain on my fingers. So just trim the sides. So we're going to do this. So I'm going to do that to a couple more. Maybe I won't do them all, just to give you an idea. And I try to cut, I try to be as even as possible because I'm eyeballing it. Okay. So to me, they're looking okay. I hope they're looking okay to you. How's that? Okay. But you get the idea. So we're making a little, now I'm working on, I don't have dies here. I don't have a Big Shot. I don't have my Vagabond. No die cutting here. It's all old school cutting. But I just want to show you as well that you can make some awesome things with your imagination and with limited supplies. Okay. Well, while I'm at it, I'll just do the fourth one. Okay. Is that good? I think so. Paper to scissors, or scissors to paper, is the best sound ever. So then the other thing that I did, so now to hold it in place, I will use a little bit of glue. So I'm just grabbing what is within reach. So what this will do is it'll just hold it in place. I just need a little bit. I'm going to have to staple it down anyway. So, okay. I think some of us, including me, we don't work on projects because we don't have all of the tools, and it kind of stops us from trying out new things. I tried making this paper with a hairdryer. That didn't work. Too much air comes out. It was blowing things everywhere. So I really did have to wait for the heat tool. And then the same thing, once we start working, we realize that some things don't work, like the glue to the wax paper, but we won't know until we actually give things a try. Okay, so now I'm going to cut these out. And if you know of a glue, of an adhesive that will stick to this wax paper, wax to paper, any glue, let me know in the comments below, and I'll give it a try. Okay, so just cut the excess. With more time off camera, I'm more careful, try not to waste too much product, and I'll actually glue the squares to the edges of the wax paper, because nobody wants to be wasting anything. At least I don't. But can you see what that already looks like? Isn't that amazing? Amazing. My #1 word, you guys. Amazing. My mother teases me about it because she'll watch my videos, or my sister will share videos with her, and then they'll tease me about it. Amazing. Amazing. What's your word that you use the most? When I was younger, I used to say wild a lot. And I used to say, oh, that's wild. I'm an 80s girl. But wild was my favorite word. That is wild. Okay, so let's put that somewhere. The next thing I did is, so I cut around this. I'm going to use little scissors. So I use book page. Ta-da! Okay. And then I took one of the stickers. So let's use this one. Let's see. Now just put the sticker down. And then I took the stapler. Oh my gosh. And then once it's stapled, then I go around and I fix the edges a little bit. And then I don't have a corner. I don't have a corner rounder, so very carefully I rounded out the corners. You could leave it square if you want, but I tried the rounded corners and I really liked the way it looked. I should say I don't have a corner rounder here, and I'm not going to buy one. I could do this. I could do this, you guys. Look at that. Sorry, right there. The other thing that I did is I distressed the edges to give it a little bit of a vintage look. You could do it either way, but I liked the distress, so I'm going to use some vintage photo. How fitting, vintage photo on a vintage photo. On a faux vintage photo. So let's distress the edges. Wow, look at that. Okay. And this is where I had stopped. So I was just going to leave it at that. And as I was putting these away last night, I thought, I'm going to use little word. Because I have them. Why not? I mean, if I had little stamps here, then I have a huge collection of stamps, you guys. And so if I were in California, I would take one of the stamps and maybe stamp a little word there. But I have these stickers, and they're great because they're vellum stickers, and I honestly didn't know what to do with these. So let's find a word. Here's one that says grateful. Okay. And I'm just going to put it there. You see that? Isn't that super cute? Oh, I can't wait to use these in something. Gonna make another one really quick. Let's make another one. And this time, let's use one of these butterflies. Let's see if I have any more little ones in here. Aren't these great? They're already cut and everything. I should have grabbed the other colors while I could, but I didn't think I needed. Oh, here's one. I didn't think I needed all the colors, but they are beautiful. Okay. So what I did is I just distressed the edges a little bit of the butterfly. And if you have your own fussy cut butterflies, use those. Okay, so distress that a little bit. And I'm not going to put any book page behind this one. So what I did is I just stapled it. I stapled that there, and then I used a tiny little dab of glue behind this wing. One thing I want to say about this glue, this is a 3-in-1 by Beacon. Same maker, made by the same company that makes Fabri-Tac. For some reason, this one does not spew out when you're not using it. I think they also refer to it as volcanoing. This glue doesn't do it. The other one, the Fabri-Tac that I've gone through, if I left it open, it would just spew out the glue. I don't know if it's because of the composition of the glue, but I noticed it with this one. That doesn't happen. When I buy another bottle of this, I'll check on that too to see if it's just this bottle or the glue itself. Okay, so I just glue it just so it can hold there. Let's cut the corners. Okay, and now let's distress the edges. I should have probably done that before putting the butterfly on it. That packaging paper, the crystallized paper, makes all the difference. It really does. I can't wait to make some more. Visit Odd. Oh, I didn't mention, Odd is French, so all her videos are in French. But I don't mind. I can kind of make out. I think when you're crafting, it doesn't matter what language you speak because we all speak craft. And I understand everything she's saying. And she sounds so beautiful. Look at that. Okay, so now let's put a word here. Da, 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 da. Okay. So many words, so many words. Here's this one, from the heart. They are so tiny. There you go. Aren't these amazing, you guys? Look at that. You can put this on your projects. See that? I mean, it would look nice also with the book page in the background, but I wanted to make different ones. Some with the paper, the book page in the background, and others without it. Whoops, I keep going off. I'm sorry. Look at that. Aren't these amazing? I'm going to make as many as I can. Actually, I can only make 2 more. I don't have any more cardstock. I need to find what I could use in lieu of this vanilla cardstock. I am going to go find some. What about, oh, what about cereal box? The inside of a cereal box, and then you'll have like a darker. Oh, the possibilities are endless, you guys. You know you can use. Just go through your stash and see what you can do. But first, you have to give this a try. And if you already have vellum, I'm sure vellum will work just fine. But I really do enjoy repurposing items, and turning that packaging paper into this is going to be amazing. Ooh, can I show you something really quick? Before I end this video, let me show you what I do with the packaging, or how I work with it. So I mentioned that I cut it down to size, right? This is where I keep my paper. These were my old file folders for my office 10 plus years ago. They still have from 2008. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is where I keep some of the papers that I collect. And so let me show you. Here is some of that brown packaging. It comes in the really long strips, and this is what you find in the items that you get in the mail. So what I do is I cut it down to a more manageable size, which is 8.5 by 11, or strips. This is the size that I used to wax yesterday. And then also the other packaging, this is from Home Goods. I also trim it down to 8.5 by 11, and then I put it in the folder and I store it away, okay? It's just easier to work with, but let me show you what I did this morning. Here is new packaging paper. Let me move these aside. I want to wax this. I want to crystallize this, so I'm going to work on this. Maybe I'll have the camera on when I'm doing it. That would be a good idea. So what I did is, I've never seen this green packaging paper before. This is new to me. I ordered some products through Amazon, and this is the packaging that was in the box. Isn't it beautiful? It's like a hunter or like an army green. Anyway, I love it. And so I cut it down to 8.5 by 11, and I'll also put it in its own folder and work with this. So I think this color paper is going to look amazing. Amazing once it is crystallized. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you again so much. So I will link below Aude's video so that you can follow her tutorial for this process. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to give it a try. And I'm going to go find more vanilla cardstock somewhere so I can make hundreds and hundreds more of these. All right. You guys take care, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.